While the hosts and guests are encouraged to express their views, they don't necessarily reflect those of the management of Portland Sports Network, but they likely do.
Welcome, sports fans, to episode 11 of Sports Saturday Off the Rails. I'm your host, Coach Miguel Amadeus, along with Coach John Thayer and Kyle Eating. Good morning, guys. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great if I didn't have Kyle's muck floating around in my body. But other than that, I'm good to go. I feel great today compared to yesterday. But it wasn't Kyle's fault he got something from somebody either. It just is what it is. But it's been like how many weeks?
It's been a few.
Yeah, I'm proud of my body for resisting what it could resist, but it finally I think it's practicing at night during the rain and all that got this old guy down a little bit. But I'm good to go. Great sunny day. Train needs to go by here in a little while, but I have no complaints. Well, I've got complaints, but nothing like that affects my life.
Well, I have found out the past couple of weeks that I'm getting old. I think that's the only way to say it. I can remember a time where, as long as it was above 15 degrees outside, it didn't matter. I mean, I could go from the house to the car wearing little or nothing, and I would be fine until the car warmed up. Now I can't even dress right to go to the sporting events.
Dress right.
You know,
got too
it's-
much clothes
it's-
on inside the basketball and you get
it's-
hot.
It's 65 degrees outside when I get there. So I'm trying to prepare for that. But I'm also, I got the jacket because I got some underlayers. So, yeah, I do get hot in the gym. But then when I get ready to leave, I don't have enough because, it's down to 45
Getting that
outside.
cold.
And before I get from the gym door to the truck, I mean, I feel terrible. I can't do it anymore. So I don't know how to fix that. I guess I'll just wear a parka everywhere I go and sweat if I have to sweat.
Oh, you have to take a coat with you everywhere you go. You have to have.
And I'm not good with that because I forget and I leave coats.
Well, just leave it in your car.
Well, you got your friends, so I'm not going to let you walk out of the gym without your coat. I
Okay.
promise.
Good point.
I got your back.
Appreciate that.
I'm that kind of guy, dude.
Well, today, guys, we have no guest right now.
Yeah, we do. We have all three of us.
Oh, there you go. We have no other guests than us.
We have no important guests.
There you go. We do have the month of March filled up. I said this last night on the broadcast of the girls' basketball game. Next week, we have Coach Totten coming in talking about middle school, East Middle School basketball. The following week, we have Austin and Coach Lamberth coming in from Freedom Fitness.
So that's the 14th?
That's
I
the
won't
14th.
be here that weekend.
Okay. And then we'll talk about Freedom Fitness, kind of what they're doing with the athletes here in town. We'll talk a little bit with Coach Lamberth about being selected and winning Personal Trainer of the Year in Sumner County, and then also I think that took him into a regional, and he won that one also. So in his first year of being a personal trainer, to win awards like that is great. I know that speaking with him, and I can speak with him every day, and then speak with Avery. He's helping Avery with his workouts and everything, and rehabbing from the knee surgery and all that. And Avery has put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle. Avery's now up to 230 pounds, where I think when he started with Coach Lamberth, he was like 218. So, and we talked about kind of go off the rails here a little bit. Talking with Avery the last couple times, especially I talked to him a lot last Sunday when we went to the awards banquet together. Not that he made a bad choice with the Naval Academy. It's just that his options could have been a whole lot more if he had all SEC schools want him to be at least 230 pounds before they come. And to me, this gets into a debate on everybody has certain criterias they want before they're going to recruit you, no matter what. And for an offensive defensive lineman, you have to be at least a certain height to play it in a Power 5 school. They wanted him to be a certain weight. To me, weight would not be important in my eyes because I can get you the good weight that you got to put on. Now, if you're 340 and they want you down to 300, that's a different story. Trying to lose weight. Trying to gain weight, I think that would be the easiest thing. You can't stretch a guy. You can't make a guy who is 5'10" be 6'3". Okay, it is what it is. So I can understand the height because the height goes into the length of your arm, your reach, and that really is really important for the linemen and everything, offensive and defensive linemen. But just talking, with Avery a little bit, it would have given him more options, to have. Arkansas was a school that was coming in this past spring to look at him if he was 230, and then there's two other SEC schools that were going to come in if he hit that mark.
They've got NIL now, so it ain't a big deal.
It may have been a good thing that he wasn't 230 if Arkansas was looking for him.
Yeah, where he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to look back at all.
No,
he signed with a university that's in the top 25 every year that he can get drafted if that's his goal in life. But he's going to get an education that's totally off the charts. He's got the perfect personality, I think, for that kind of environment.
I saw something the other night. I was like, I saw something the other night. I won't bring it up on air here, but I saw something the other night with Avery, and I'm like, he will have no problem at the Naval Academy because of the situation that was going on, his attentiveness to what was going on. I saw, and I'm like, yeah, he's not going to have an issue at all dealing with his plebe year or anything like that. And we're not looking at, not saying that he needs to look back and go, oh man, look, what if? It's not the what ifs. It's just, it's been cool to sit there and say I had 24 offers,
I got kids we got guys on the football team right now that's, quote, got offers that people are telling me this and I'm going, really? But anyway, I think, you know what, I'm not going to get into religion and all that, but if you believe, like a lot of people believe, then what happened to him is going to work out perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It happened for a reason. That academy is an unbelievable academy. I'm not 100% wild about Air Force. It's a good school, no doubt. But the Naval Academy and the Military Academy Army Academy are two of the most prestigious institutions in the world. It's just, Avery should be so proud that somebody's giving him money giving him a free education.
And then what that does
the only thing that stinks is he can't have any NIL money, but they give him everything else.
Yes, and if he wants to, he can have it for the next 25, 30 years. That's
right. It's a brotherhood that's never going anywhere.
But that also brings in. They've already sat there and said that Naval Academy said they're coming back in the spring. They're looking to see if there's anybody else here, and so what happens is no one shows up at Portland for the last 10, 15, 20 years. We never had an athlete good enough to go D1, and so all of a sudden you get one. And what that does is it opens up the doorway, just like East Rob. East Rob will have colleges going over there. Okay, not looking for the Groves kids and everything. They still got Groves coming, from what I hear. But you got athletes, so they want to.
They've been doing that for the baseball program since Blake Owen played for me in the summer at East Rob. Man, they had a pitiful baseball team over there.
Yep.
But Blake Owen showed out during the summer, and Vanderbilt went over there and picked him up. Well, Vanderbilt still goes over there all the time.
They're going to sit there and go over there until it dries, until they think that it dries.
They think it's something in the water, I guess. I don't really know what they're thinking. And we had that here at one time, too, back in the 2000s, early 2000s. We had scouts all over the place. But you got to groom that stuff, too. Coaches, they've got to take a lot of involvement in that. Getting on the phone yourself and going, hey, once you come over to this is what we're doing. Keep people up to date on your schedule and what you've got and your kids coming in. And even if you tell them, say, I'm not sure I've got a kid that's a scholarship guy, but, if you're in the area, stop by. We'll feed you lunch.
And that's what
those kind of relationships are huge, and a lot of coaches don't. I don't know if they're scared or they're lazy or what, but they don't groom them the way they need to groom them.
And that's it. That's another thing to where parents need to understand the days of my kid's good enough, somebody's going to come find him. Actually, it is, because you have so much social media out there that you can get your film or whatever out to somebody now. Back in the days, it wasn't that. You had to have that pipeline into you, and you had to take one kid. Now we got that pipeline started for Portland. You're going to have coaches coming in because what's going to happen, and this is where the head coach has to understand, parents have to understand, the head coach has to be honest with these colleges coming in because he can't sit there and go, oh, I got this kid, he's going to be real good, and da-da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, he has a C average.
Yep.
It's a low ACT. He gets in trouble all the time outside of school and everything. Guess what? Those colleges then we're going to come in and go, hey, I'm going to tell this, hey, your next college going in, be careful. Coach ain't telling you the truth. Hey, I've got this kid who's 6'3", 230, and he's 5'10", 150. You know, you can't lie about those things, and that's what parents need to understand. I can't promote your kid if he doesn't hit the requirements that they're looking for. You have to be honest to keep those coaches coming in, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. And you're right. You can have colleges coming in for baseball, but all it takes is one coach to sit there and go, hey, he also plays football. You might want to tell your guys to come see this kid or this kid over here. He doesn't play. This kid over here doesn't play basketball, but he plays baseball. You're here to watch this kid play basketball, but you need to go have your baseball guys come in and look at this other kid. And that's how it all starts.
And what's interesting is this segues into your transfer deal that we're going to talk about later. Because if you go to a high school that the coaching staff doesn't do their part, which is to reach out and sell you, if you're sellable, then that's a good reason to transfer. And there's a lot of schools that don't. And that's the one thing a lot of people, the private schools, we get back and forth on that all day long. Most of those private school institutions, they know what it takes to sell their kids, without a doubt. They absolutely know. They've got college days all the time set up. And it's, so that's one of the reasons why maybe being able to transfer one time is a good thing. Because you might not know what your situation is till you get in it.
I'm okay with the one transfer, and that's the new rule we was talking about that the governor of Tennessee just passed into a law for the TSSAA to sit there and do, and that's the one transfer fee that you can have. And we'll get more into that,
Right.
like you said, toward the end of the show and everything. But anyway, we got Coach Lamberth and Austin coming in for Freedom Fitness on the 14th. The 21st, we'll have the robotics team. Never had them on the show before. I know they do well when they come into competitions. I know Unipress. We have helped them, Unipress industry out here over on Kirby Drive. They have donated programming and robots for these kids to learn on because Unipress uses robotic welders, spot welders and MIG welders and stuff like that to make parts for
the
Nissan.
robotics is cool. They gonna bring their stuff in, a toy or something?
Well, I need to email him and tell him, is there anything you can bring in? Because we got plenty of room to do a demonstration here.
Right.
So I think that would be cool.
Well, right when Nissan came into the area, I was in a part of my life that if I would have had some parents or something that could have helped me financially, where I could have gone to school again for a couple more years, I would have jumped all over robotics early on. It is. And back in the 80s, that's when it first started coming out. When did Nissan come in? Do you know?
Yeah.
About then?
Yeah.
And they were just begging for people to get in the robotics industry. And if I could have financially afforded to do that, I would have done it in a heartbeat. But I had bills to pay.
Well, it's me and Kyle work for Unipress. Kyle is not in the robotic field. I've been in it for the last 2 years, 3 years with maintenance, and I've been sent down to a couple schools in Alabama over the robotics and everything. And once you learn the robotics, you can kind of go anywhere. It's the programming.
Those guys make some money,
it's
dude.
the programming that is cool, and I've learned some of that and everything. So I'm kind of excited for them to come in and kind of see what they do with the robots and everything.
That would be phenomenal.
And then on the 28th, March 28th, we'll have the new head football coach, Coach Dupree, will be coming in, and he's excited to be talking football, and then we'll find out how his program, how he runs the program, how you start a program when coming in as a new coach, all kinds of questions we can ask. We could probably have him on here for 2 hours, and still have not enough time. I've got emails out. We're trying to get. I do have with the possibility we can get a TSSAA football referee to come in. When you see him,
Make sure it's the right one.
when you see him, you'll see he'll do our games. He'll do 2 or 3 of our games on Friday nights. But he's worked his way from youth to middle school to being up to being a head ref on a Friday night. But once you see Jeff, you'll know who Jeff is and everything.
Who is
but
it?
Jeff Schleicher, I think is his last name is Schleicher.
Back in the day, I'll never forget. You know, you Pee Wee football. You the refs. You get what you get, right? So everybody was complaining. So we asked this one guy who was a TSSAA ref to come do one of our games. Through the first quarter, we were begging him to leave, both sides. So we want our local guys back. It was just one of those memorable moments that it was just funny. Like,
But,
well, we messed up.
Was calling everything to the.
He just wasn't. He just wasn't
taking-
very good. It was almost like
okay.
he was taking our money and
That's why he's at
Oh.
youth. He's letting him play. He
and
was just letting
drinking
him play.
margaritas or something. It was like he was awful. The good thing is we were missing our refs after that. Let me just tell you, they could have went on strike and we'd have had to pay them more.
But we've got a possibility of getting him in here. Should be hearing back from East Track and Field, West Track and Field. We still need to get in, and it's not so much as a coach that we're trying to get in. I'd rather have the athletes more than just the coaches. So there's a lot of times we don't, maybe not have a sport on here. It's because it's just spring. Everybody's, you had January and February trying to get people in, and then now everything's going to start. Spring sports start March 2nd, which is this week coming up. And so that's when the games start. And then you start getting into the season, it's hard to get people in here. But, do we need Coach Steinbrecher in here for baseball? Not really, but it'd be nice to have him. But we just need the players. Do we need Coach Tucker in here for softball? Not really, but she's doing a lot behind the scenes as an admin for basketball right now. But softball starts on the 2nd. Do we need athletes? Yeah, we need the athletes in here. And it's going to be a couple weeks before we get them in here because they start this week, and then they go to spring break and they go play tournaments during the spring break. And so we'll just have to try to get the athletes in here. Tennis starts up, soccer starts up. So again, Coach Cooper, we had flag football starts up. We had Coach Cooper, the new coach for girls and guys soccer. We had them scheduled for January 24th, and that's the weekend that we got the ice storm. And I'm so glad we canceled that, and we just have never got back. I put another email out trying to get a hold of him, trying to find another date. And again, it's just trying to set a date, find a date that works for a couple people, and that's what's hard. But
and we're going to broadcast 2 of the football games.
flag football.
2 of those are on schedule. I think we got 3 softballs tentatively, and 5 baseball maybe. So that'll be cool. And we got special guests for the baseball, so that's going to be really fun.
I'd like to
ex-PHS baseball players.
I'd like to get a soccer game in. I'd like to sit
Kyle's
there.
good at saying go, score, go. What is it, score or go? Go.
And then, I'd like to go out to a track meet, and sit in the stands like we had
That
talked.
would be totally fun.
And so, there's a lot of things we can do. Of course, we got busy schedules ourselves, but that's our, and then we're sponsoring a 12 and under youth baseball, the Portland Longhorns, from what we're told. I'd like to get out there to the park out there and do a game, one of their games, and maybe sit there and whatever game's next after that, sit there and do their game, and just have fun with it and get a roster from them and just call a youth game just to have fun, not be critical of the umpires or the players or this or that, but just
Well, the
have fun.
umpires, Mr. Moore does the umps, and he does a really good job with the umps over there. He gets some younger, depending on the age group, but he gets some high school students to get involved, and they really get into it. They really
that's
take
what,
a lot of pride in what they're doing. They want to get it right. They know they don't know everything, but they're learning to know everything, and it's a lot of it is just your attitude. If you have a good positive attitude, and Mr. Moore does a really good job of finding kids that are level-headed. And
I can tell
fit the
you,
mold.
he's another one that we're trying to get on to a show. Is him or some of his admin people on here to talk about the youth baseball
And he's
and
a
softball.
great chef, by the way.
And
Found that out, didn't we?
but Avery and Sean Sebring used to umpire. There's a lot of times where we'd either have to cut private lessons short or move into a day because Avery and Sean would have umpires. They would have to go umpire and everything. But I guess we'll kind of from there we'll talk about basketball. We'll do a basketball. We hadn't talked about basketball. If you're listening to the games when they play at night, like last night, what's going on. If you don't, we'll give you a roundup of what's going on with girls and boys basketball, where they're at, what's coming up, and all that. But also, what just got finished is Olympics. I'd like to sit there and talk about Olympics, and but we're going to take a short break, and then once we come back from break, like I said, we'll talk about the Olympics, what everybody's thoughts were on the Olympics, if we watched the Olympics, and all that, and then we'll kind of get into the basketball and do recap of basketball, and then start talking a little bit about the spring sports that are coming up. So right now, you are listening to Sports Saturday here on the Portland Sports Network.
In the city or in the woods, help keep America looking good. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Forest Service.
From phones and laptops to toys and tools, many of our favorite things run on batteries. But when tossed in the trash or recycling bin, these batteries can spark intense fires that are nearly impossible to stop. Battery fires are happening more often. They've destroyed homes, burned down garbage trucks and recycling centers, and, tragically, taken lives. When a facility goes up in flames, trash and recycling services can be shut down for weeks or even months. The good news, battery fires are easy to prevent. Just remember, never throw batteries in the trash or recycling bin. Always tape the ends and drop them off at a safe collection site or mail them in using a certified return box.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Tennessee Commission for the United States Semiquincentennial was created to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, and recognize Tennessee's integral role in that event and the impact of its people on the nation's past, present, and future. The Commission promotes an inclusive statewide celebration and educational commemoration of America's 250th by interpreting and preserving Tennessee's unique stories, objects, landmarks, and places across our diverse state that defined who we are as Tennesseans and Americans.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back, Panther fans, to Off the Rails Sports Saturday. You're here with Coach Miguel Medeiros along with Kyle Eden and Coach John Thayer. Guys, no guest today, but just kind of talking about what's been going on in the last couple weeks. And I guess the last thing,
And we could have a guest if anybody's in town wants to stop by and be part of the show. Just stop on in. We'll give you a free Coke, some chips, and you can just be part of the show if we like you. And I'm not shy to say that I don't like you. You can't be part of the show. I'm betting nobody stops by, period.
Haven't been here, and we just now discussed we're going to have some shows that we're going to have to remove now due to work schedule. So, but we'll let everybody know what's going on there. Guys, the Olympics just finished. Had 2 weeks or 15 days of the Olympics and everything. Did y'all watch the Olympics, or is that not your thing, or what's your all's take on the Olympics?
Well, the Winter Olympics, I'm not so much on as I used to be. but there was a time in my life where as soon as the Olympics were on, do you remember when the winter and summer were both the same year?
Yeah, because
You know,
everything was 4 years.
exactly. And so I can remember those times. And yeah, it was especially the summertime because you were out of school.
But
and
doesn't that still happen every 2 years? Because
So
Yeah,
you
but
you have it 2
winter
years.
it's every 2 years in track and field.
There's still 4 years. Winter's every 4, summer's every 4. But now they show them every 2 years. So like
They-
2028 will be Summer Olympics, and then it'll be 2030 will be the next Winter Olympics. The reason they did this, in my personal
Money.
opinion, money. Exactly,
and
100%.
they had one of the Olympics. They did it 2 years later instead of 4 years later, so they could start that offset. But yes, I watch a little. I don't watch like I used to. You know, I used to be all into the speed skating and
So
some
it's
of the
hard
figure
when
skating.
you have it on in another country like that. It's hard because everything that's really live and going on, you want to watch it live, is happening at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, and what you get to see on prime time has already happened. And with social media now, you can't wait and go, "Wow, I wonder what happened," because you already know it's already blasted on 25 different news outlets that this one or that one is won. That's the cool thing about. I don't know if people know about it. 1980 Miracle on Ice. It actually game was played at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it didn't get showed until like 7 or 8 o'clock that night. So everybody thought it was live and everything, but it wasn't. So people in New York knew what was going on, and they was trying to keep everybody hushed about the results. And back then it could happen, but it was a tape delay and everything. So, but anyway,
And what I watch now or this go around was hockey and curling, and I've kind of been into curling now for the last few Winter Olympics. But that was even harder because you would hear the results.
yeah.
And but I got pretty good there in the the knockout rounds of not even getting on the internet and checking to see what happened. So it was all pretty surprise to me whenever I was watching the gold medal and silver medal, all that.
I've always been an Olympic fan. It just, I guess, it's just a competition that I'm attracted to, and I'm a big, Of course, I'm USA. I'm all about being behind the USA team, no matter what they do, no matter if it's a sport that we just suck at. I'll still sit there and watch it. Hoping that we do something. Because I guess Miracle on Ice will sit there and give you, there's always a chance. But I'm like you. The funny thing was, I laugh about how curling has become such a popular sport. And I remember the last 3 or 4 Winter Olympics, they really started showing it, and I just kind of laughed on this is crazy. What is this? You're gonna sit there and sweep on the ice and just throw some rocks down there. But the more you watch, and the more I sit there and talk to people, the more everybody watches. Everybody's like, "Man, we got stuck on curling," and I don't know what it is that gets them, but it was this year I was watching it, and of course, each time they show something, you get better. Athletes from now got GoPro on their chest or whatever, so you can see what they're seeing, and they got mics. Everybody's mic'd up now, so you can have the in-game
that's pretty-
experience and
that's
everything.
pretty good.
And I guess that's what led me to start understanding their thinking about how they do things on curling. And like I told you before we started the broadcast, Kyle, it was to me in my mind, the way curling is just like billiards. It's pool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 9-ball. You have to go take one ball and hit the other ball. You have to hit it at a certain angle, with certain type of speed and a certain English spin on the cue ball to get everything to do what you want to set your shot up. Curling, that's what it is. You're trying to throw it down the ice, hit a rock in a certain spot to make it do certain things, and then the one that you just threw has to sit there and do what you need it to do to either protect or to be, and so that's what it's billiards on ice, in my opinion, and everything. So, but it was curling. I like speed skating. I don't like the big 15,000 meter, where
takes forever.
that takes 30 laps or
That's
so.
not really speed skating. Don't look
No,
like
it's not. It's like cross country speed. You call it skating, but I like the sprints, the speed skating sprints, and the relays. The relays is kind of cool. Speed skating there, and then of course the hockey was my three go-to things and everything. Oh, the skeleton and luge was my two things.
You can have that.
I love watching that.
Scares me.
the cool thing I saw, Jason Kelsey, you know, he's retired now, but he's all out into social media and all that. He went and trained with the four-man bobsled team just so he could have a personal experience on what goes into it, and it took him all day, according to the video that's out on YouTube and everything. But it took him all day to learn how to push the four-man bobsled, how to get into the bobsled, and then they finally took him down the ice, and he said it was the coolest thing ever to sit there and go 80 miles per hour
I can't
with
imagine.
four guys tucked in. And what was cool was that, not that it was cool, it happened to the USA team, but the USA team went to go do a run, and spot 2, 3, and 4 all fell out of the luge as they was trying to get in. And it happened with, like, I think it was number 3 guy faltered getting in, and that caused number 2, and they all fell out right before the first curve. And they show the camera, and they show the driver look back, and he sees he's got nobody behind him, and he's just by himself in this four-man luge going down this slope, everything. And so he's just trying to control it and steer it the best he could. And at the end, it shows him getting up. Everybody thought he was trying to get out. And what he's doing, he was going from seat 1 back to seat 4, who is the brakeman, to put the brakes on to stop the luge. And I was like, who would ever thought about that? You know, you sitting there by yourself going down, you're going, I ain't got no teammates, and this is, you know, our run just went to crap and everything. And now, you know, but that's kind of cool. But the
I've
luge,
never seen that before.
the luge where you're feet first, when you're by yourself, going 80 miles per hour down, you know, turns and everything.
With nothing.
Right. And then the
You're
skeleton.
on 2 wheels or whatever.
Skeleton is a one man on your stomach, hands down to your side, and your
Even
face
worse.
first. Your face first going down this, you know, this whatever they call it,
Shoot.
track, going down the track, you know, and everything. So to me, that was pretty cool and everything. But of course, hockey was the ones that really got me excited. Coach, what did you watch, and what was your thing to?
Well, my wife is an Olympic person. She loves the Olympics. She wears her little sweatshirt and T-shirts and every day. It's when it's Olympics because my wife's wearing Olympic stuff.
Cool.
So she loves all the stuff. I'm the Winter Olympics. Not a huge fan of the Winter Olympics. It's a good way to fall off and not out and go to sleep early on the couch, especially when they're playing that little stick thing about the rock and the
The
ice.
curling.
Yeah, that just bores me to death. It's I don't know, but I'm not dogging anybody for liking it. I'm glad that there's other things on TV, but my wife, she loves it. And by the way, medal count, gold medal, Norway had 18, U.S. 12 for second. Silver, we tied with Norway 12 each. Bronze, Norway 11, U.S. 9. So Norway, of course, they don't do nothing in
We were
Norway but
second.
live in the snow anyway.
We were
So
second
they
in
have a
count.
great advantage. They can't get out and play baseball and football because it's too cold there. They just do Norway, this Olympic stuff. But anyway, yeah, we were second, 41-33, and apparently,
Yeah.
if I remember right, that's the best medal count that we've ever had in the Winter
For
Olympics.
the winter, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
U.S. is
So
not
anyway,
Olympic.
but if my wife likes it, then I like it because she's a great wife, and I'm going to support her in any way
Going
that I
back to
can.
curling though, what's weird about that is I'll get all pumped up during the Olympics and I'll watch it, rooting for USA. But I have tried to watch curling outside of the Olympics.
Can't do it.
I cannot get into it. If it's
Well,
not
you go downtown at the
USA,
square and watch some matches down there.
But if it's not USA,
But is it ever on
I
TV
can't-
other
yeah,
than the
yeah,
Olympics? Is
yeah,
it really?
Yeah, it's on.
I didn't know.
It's I'm
ESPN
telling you,
8
it's
or
catch on.
something.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, you-
Kyle said,
you
it's
can
like
find it
it's
on
like
there.
pickleball.
But I don't
Pickleball
get
caught
into it.
fire.
No, I like pickleball. That's fun because I actually play it. But
Do you watch the opening and closing ceremonies anymore?
No,
I can't.
to
I
me,
think it
it's
was
too
on our
much.
TV. I'm not sure if we were watching it or not.
I can't do that anymore.
We were at a game. We had a game.
Where we? When I got
Yeah.
home, it was still going on. One of them.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing all this weird stuff, and
But
That's what gets
it's
me.
just no more. It's just I think the coolest one was when out there in '84 Summer Olympics. I think it was '84. It was out in L.A. and Muhammad Ali was there.
Yeah.
And that one there is that the one that had the archer that shot the arrow
I
and
think
lit
so. It was that one or 92. I don't remember. But yeah, I watched that from start to finish.
that one there I thought was cool.
And
And
during
it's
that
not-
time, I would watch from start to finish. And I would get into the closing ceremonies. But now it's just so cultural oriented. Is that
I
the
guess,
word I want to say?
I guess, yeah.
yeah, they're trying to make their statement,
They're trying to say, yeah, here's our country. Here's what we do. Here's who
kind of
we
like
are.
the Super Bowl
and I don't
halftime show
care.
this year and the last year's Super Bowl
Are you
halftime show.
against weddings?
No, but anyway, but my thinking is when I met my wife, she didn't know anything about baseball. Now she's all in. She's probably one of the smartest humans I know that know baseball. So I owe her to jump on her sport.
I turned to her for the scorekeeping.
Yeah, she's scary scorekeeping,
I
but
don't-
she
But,
knows strategy too, dude. And she can she can work an ump as good as anybody I've ever seen.
Oh my.
She just out of all the years of doing it, she knows exactly what to say and when to say it.
But some of the highlights there in Olympics was, of course, women's gold. They beat Canada in overtime. Megan Keller scores overtime goal to bring them the gold medal and beat Canada. And then USA men's wins in overtime by Jack Hughes winning overtime goal to beat Canada. And I guess, go ahead.
Well, women's goal was expected. Men's, maybe not so.
The way I knew it was going to be a tough game, talking about the men's hockey game. Canada is one of those teams. So here's how I look at it. It was funny how everything kind of lined up back in 1980, and I never knew this. That was the first gold that we won since the 1980.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was
really?
never-
I knew we did crappy in '84, and Pat LaFontaine was one of the people he was the captain of the '84 hockey team, and everybody, after winning and beating the Russians, everybody thought, well, that's we're good, and we're going to be off and running, and I never really sat there and watched. And then once they allowed the NHL players come in and play and everything, I kind of lost. I knew we was having trouble beating Canada and everything. So, but that was kind of cool. What was cool about the whole thing, and you tell me that history doesn't repeat itself and doesn't line up sometimes, but we beat Canada for the gold on February 22nd. And that is the date that we beat Russia. Not for the gold, but we beat Russia. Russia was the arch nemesis. They was the best team in the world at that time. They had won the last 4 or 8 gold medals. Nobody can beat them. They was beating NHL All-Stars. That's how I look at what 2026 is. Canada is that team. They're the Russian team. Canada is now the team everybody tries to beat. Everybody tries to emulate and everything. And to beat them on that date, to get you the gold medal, I thought was kind of cool how history kind of lines up itself. But
and so many fans don't know, or they think that Russian game in 1980 was for the gold.
yeah,
There's so many people that says we beat Russia for the gold medal. No.
it was the semifinals.
And,
that got it in
the
the
big
gold
deal
medal
about
game.
that was they had to go into that gold medal game, and could they win? If they lost that
They
game,
came from behind. They were losing. Yeah,
how terrible would that have been that
Yeah.
you beat the Russians and then you lose in the gold medal game? So a lot of people don't even realize that was a semifinal game, and they had to go back and
they played Finland.
win the other one.
Yep.
I will say I think the Olympics need to keep NHL players in because they took them out. What was it, the last go around?
Yeah.
I could follow the United States, but it was hard to really watch any of the other games to kind of keep up with who was good and who was going to go up against. It's something about, especially if you're a fan of NHL, it's something about, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And I know that guy
So-
over here, and seeing them up against each other.
So here's my take on that right there. The men's hockey team. If they don't put NHL guys in, what they need to do is you need and they need to take 18 and under. These 18 and under tournaments that they have, USA versus Canada, 18 and under. They really showed that the last 3-4 years because that's who was playing in the Olympics, and it still was USA versus Canada and Sweden. There are the top teams and everything, but you can't just. Not everybody has the NHL channel, so you got to take these 18 and under tournaments that they're playing, which is kind of like the Olympics for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who's going to be on your Olympic team. You need to really put that out there on maybe ESPN or TNT or wherever. Hockey needs to sit there and get that out there better, so you can become familiar, like what you're saying, with these players that you're going to be following for 5 or 6 games in these 15-day Olympics, or keep the NHL guys in. I like the games with the NHL because you're sitting there going, there's no way that you're going to sit there and play with this guy next to you because you just sat there and fought each other 2 games ago before you came on, and then your best buddies. And what happens? They get back on Wednesday night, they play, and you have Buffalo plays New Jersey, and they honor Jack Hughes for the New Jersey Devils. bring him out before the game, and he sits there and grabs Tage Thompson, who's from Buffalo, who's his teammate for the USA, and makes him go and skate around with him before the game because it's going to be, hey, this is a brotherhood. You can get to a brotherhood for so long, but once you get into an NHL game and it comes down to a playoff spot and everything, you're going to do what you got to do, and I understand that. But
and that's similar to when they decided to let pro athletes into the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
Because how fun was that, at least for me? I loved watching that. And then what was the final setup? It was Ohtani against Mike. Anyway, they were on the same team.
I watch college baseball, bro.
Okay. They ruined my whole train of thought.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm
Go through
sorry,
there.
but I don't.
And but anyway, so that was the final batter, the final pitcher.
yeah,
And it was such a showdown, but they were on the same team.
yeah.
And then after
And-
that, they was able to kind of get back together, do that. Have you seen the T-shirt, the Jack Hughes T-shirt?
No.
You got to see it. But anyway, underneath it says Hughes your daddy.
Oh. And what
It's
what
pretty
other
good.
sport is it? You get hit in the mouth with a stick, you lose
Oh,
1.5
man.
teeth, okay, and you still play, and you're smiling the whole time with blood in your teeth, and you're missing teeth. You
Mhm.
know, that's just to me, that's a player. You know, it's funny because you got these memes out here talking about soccer players, and then they want to jump on LeBron James as a big crybaby. You know, he gets touched and he wants to foul and he flops and all this and everything. And then you watch a hockey player sit there and get a stick in his mouth, and you got 20 stitches across your lip and your face, and you're missing
That's
teeth
crazy.
and everything, and you're in here playing still. Hey, just put a shield on my head, and I'll go out there and keep on playing. You know,
Yeah, you don't see it.
Um,
Mike Trout, by the way.
you know.
Just want to throw that in there.
um,
But yeah, I like that, the T-shirt. And what were your thoughts on Nathan McKinnon? And this is not just for this. This is just for every sport. You seem like you see. Nathan McKinnon comes out and says, well, we were the better team. And you hear that a lot. The team that lost says we were the better team. Well, how can you say that? I mean,
so
I'm looking at the scoreboard. I don't know.
if you watch the game, I think it was even halfway through the first period. I think kind of took control and took the last half of the first period, all of the second period, and half the third. They dominated, and as they say, they played on the tilted ice, and that's what was scary about for me was to go. We're out here skating, hitting, and we're doing everything we can, and it seems like we just can't get something to go.
Mhm.
And they're over here, and it's just like you're just waiting for it to drop. It's kind of like watching the Predators. They play so well, and then you're going, "Oh my gosh, we got a goal! We're ahead by 1, and we got 5 minutes to go."
Too much
You're,
time.
you're waiting for something to happen. You're
Too
waiting
much
for
time.
a penalty. You're waiting for a ricochet, a deflection, or something. And I really did like the way Saros played in the Olympics for Finland. I thought he played great as
Be
a
nice if they
goalie.
could bring that home.
To me, I think it has to do with what's in front of you.
Could
I
be.
think the defensemen for the Predators, they have some.
Yeah.
But I understand you want to sit there and say, "Hey, we were the better team." I think there's several games we lost this year in football. I thought we was a better team, and we didn't win, because of whatever reason. But it's okay to say that. But in the end, you still have to acknowledge you lost one way or the other. Don't sit there and say, "Well, we didn't. They didn't beat us. We beat ourselves." It don't matter. You had to play a complete game, and you didn't. Okay. So how many times, Coach, have you had a pitcher that was dominant and they go into a game and he just can't, he doesn't have it for that game and he gets beat? Do you sit there and tell him that he's not no good?
He'll say
Quite often.
last Saturday.
Yeah, quite often.
You don't sit there and say.
And don't get me on that rail, because that's a rail I'm having too. Totally different. You know what really irritates me is when you got a kid on your team, 3 or 4 years, and everywhere you go, any chance you get, their parents will run out of their way to come say hi to you. Then his last year, he doesn't have a good year. It's the coach's fault, and they don't even talk to you anymore. That really, it doesn't bother me because I should have expected it the whole time. But anyway, I'm not saying who.
It
or
doesn't
anything.
bother you, but you just like to. bring
Well,
it up.
yeah, and the kid had, they had a part-time job, and they never showed up to practice to get their skills improved. If you don't practice, when you have a bad game and you don't practice it any at all before the next weekend, guess what? You're going to have a bad game again. Anyway, sorry to get off subject, but I had to say that.
I guess the only other thing that I hate
USA, USA.
how
Hey, good recovery.
I hate the way the TV and media. You just lost a gold medal game, okay? And they got the cameras in Canada's face. And are you supposed to be smiling and joyous? You just lost a bit. It's just like sitting there losing the World Series or a Super Bowl, and you're supposed to go into the locker room and go, "Well, what's your thought? We just one, get out of my face. Two, we just lost. Let me deal with this right now. Don't be throwing it in my face." But I understand you're an athlete. You're out there exposed, so you have to be able to control yourself to a point. But Canada got a lot of slack for how they acted after they got their silver medal. Then you got a guy coming around handing him a little stuffed bear and everything. And he had some of the players just grab it and look at it and just kind of, they're like, "Oh, look how he's acting." What do you want a grown man to do with a stuffed bear? I don't need a stuffed bear. Give me my silver medal.
Give me
Go
one
on.
that's a little bit more expensive than 24 cents, and then he might take it home to somebody or hand it to a kid in the stand.
Exactly. But don't sit there and come at me because I didn't just jump up and down and just hug it, and it reminds me of the Looney Tunes cartoon where he sits there and goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna," I ain't gonna go into that.
No, finish that.
No, I'm not going into that. So, I just thought it was great to watch the women's and the men's win gold. One, because it was USA winning gold, but the way it was, I do wish this. I kind of like the 3-man overtime, but when you get to that point, anybody can win because it just takes one little slip up to have an off man rush or odd man rush, and then it's kind of Hallebeck sat there as the USA goalie, stood on his head and made tremendous saves. I wish though, if you really want to know if a team is better than the other, they should have went 5-on-5 like they do in the Stanley Cups. Go take your intermission, come back out, play 5-on-5, play overtime, and you play until it's done, just like they do. There is no shootouts, and there is no 3-on-3, and I think that's how they should do Olympics because that's how it should be.
I agree, but you have the chance of the game may never end.
It's going to end,
guess.
but
For me, that's the only
it's going
thing.
to take longer.
Because do you want an Olympic event when you got so much other stuff going on? Do you want an Olympic event?
You're trying to
go
close
two
that-
overtimes?
You're trying to
But
close
you're right.
everything.
I don't like the 3-on-3 either. I don't know. Maybe
Make the game.
Should have tried 4-on-4 one year just to see what that would
Make
look
the
like.
game earlier then, or make sure that your last day of the
Golly,
Olympics.
It was 7:00. Is it? What
It was no. So what I'm trying to say is, after the game, they had to do the ceremony, and then they was trying to do the closing ceremony right after that.
Yeah.
So do the closing ceremony the day after. Make the closing ceremony one day whole after.
Mhm.
You finish all the events on this one day. The next day is your closing ceremony. That way you ain't got time lapses into anything. Just my opinion. Some of the people for the USA who have come out and has really caught the attention was Megan Keller, who is women's hockey, who scored the overtime goal to win to help beat Canada there. Of course, Jack Hughes, player for men's hockey. Jordan Stoltz, who was a speed skater, he took home 3 medals. 2 of them were gold. Of course, the speed skater there, that's in my mind would be Eric Heiden from 1980 Olympics. He won 5 golds that year. Michaela Schifrin, she was a slalom skier. She took gold. Breezy Johnson, downhill skier, she won gold. And then the figure skater, and we talked about this earlier. I know her first name is Alyssa. I don't know if it's Liu or Lou or whatever, but she was a figure skater that took gold. And then she caught crap because of the piercing she has in her gums and just other things. And that's like the U.S. men's hockey team. They took a lot of slack because they went out and partied. And everybody wants to talk about what they went to, they couldn't fly into New York because of the blizzard that happened. So they flew them to Miami, but they all had to go to Miami. And the next day they're all flying out to their own teams because they was playing. They said they're going, they had a 6-figure bar tab. Well, then, what's his name? Commentator for college football. Come on. He does.
Street?
No. The one that's loud and everything. McAfee.
Oh.
He sits there and sends him a message on video and says,
And he wears no shirt.
He said, bar tabs on me, drinks on me. So they ran up $100,000 bar
I
tab.
would too if you was.
Exactly. And everybody wants to sit there and
He
go,
was footing the
"Oh my
bill.
gosh, $150,000 is what it was." They just won gold. You got someone who has the money to buy it,
that
and like he sat there and
That
said,
don't bother me at all.
he goes, "Hey, the women hockey team, if you sit there and want to get a get together, drinks are on me. You just got to have it."
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like everybody's talking about the men's going to see president, and the women's hockey team wasn't. Oh, what's going on? How come they're not? The schedule, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's got schedules. You don't just come back and go, "I got nothing to do." You know,
Yeah.
the men's hockey team had to do it right then and there because they're already playing. NHL season already resumed and everything. So
And if I'm a hockey owner, it wouldn't have bothered me if my player that just won gold medal at the Olympics came back and just really stunk it up his first game back. It wouldn't bother me none at all.
But I hate the way the media wants to sit there like you're supposed to. This is what you're supposed to do. Who says? Who says? You know. But you know,
Live it up.
congratulations
Live it
to the Olympics and everything, to the guys and girls and the athletes. You know, it's
So I guess it's a good thing that that guy that was such a heavy favorite to win the men's figure skating didn't win, because then you would have to try and say his name.
I guess so.
Yeah, I can't.
I never like I said, I didn't get into it, but I heard they supposedly stole the gold away from him and or this or that and everything. So like I said, I never did see any of that. But we're gonna take another short break. And sorry, I'm gonna give you enough time to get ready though. I'm gonna take another short break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the spring sports. But I think we're gonna talk mostly about the girls and boys basketball. What happened with the district tournaments, people who made all district tournament team, and then how the quarterfinals of the regions have went, and kind of what we're looking at going forward with the basketball, and the possible dates and teams that we could be seeing depending on how things go. But you're listening to Sports Saturday Off the Rails here on Portland Sports Network.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Game world or real world, seatbelts save lives.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Graphic Obsessions on Main is in a larger space and has more to choose from than ever. Tons of Panther designs we can print in minutes. Tons of inventory you can grab right off the rack today. And the amazing new Hat Bar, where you can customize your own hat. See a design you love but not in your size? We'll print it in just minutes. So many unique gift items right in the store. With the holidays fast approaching, remember, shop early at Graphic Obsessions on Main in Portland.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Tennessee Commission for the United States Semiquincentennial was created to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, and recognize Tennessee's integral role in that event and the impact of its people on the nation's past, present, and future. The Commission promotes an inclusive statewide celebration and educational commemoration of America's 250th by interpreting and preserving Tennessee's unique stories, objects, landmarks, and places across our diverse state that define who we are as Tennesseans and Americans.
Welcome back, Panther fans, to Sports Saturday Off the Rails here on the Portland Sports Network. Again, I'm your host, Coach Miguel Medeiros, along with Coach John Thayer and Kyle Eaton here. Just got done talking about Olympics. Getting ready to talk about a little bit about spring sports real quick, and then we'll get into the basketball, and that's how we'll end the show and everything, or we'll talk about if we can get done with that. We'll see what we have for Off the Rails. But basically, guys, spring sports, there's 6 of them that's going on, getting ready to start. I think the season actually starts March 2nd, which is Monday, officially. There's some things that will start later than that. Tennis will start a little bit later, and then track and field. They're going to track meets right now, but a lot of their records and times are not going to be recorded for state qualifications and everything until later on. But you do have baseball, you have softball, you have boys soccer, you have tennis, and that is going to be boys and girls tennis is lumped into one. Track and field, of course, that is boys and girls lumped into one. And then you have girls flag football, which this is the first year that the girls flag football will be sanctioned by the TSSAA, to where last year it was kind of a intro sport. There had been some teams around Nashville and Murfreesboro who have already been playing for the last 4 or 5 years and been kind of playing club league, I guess you could say. This is the first year or last year was the first year that they introduced it to where everybody started playing it, but it wasn't sanctioned, which means they didn't have an official state championship and stuff like that. They did have a championship and everything.
Invitational.
Yeah, I guess that'd be the correct way to put it. But this year is the first year that it is sanctioned, so it will be official. It will be in TSSAA record books on district play, state tournament, and all that stuff. And they start, I know, March 5th this week. They have I believe it's going to scrimmage, or it could be a jamboree, Smith County Westmoreland jamboree, that the flag football girls will be playing. But and since we're talking about that right now, we'll go into that. So flag football last year, Coach Tucker was the head coach officially, but I don't think she ever made it to a game. And so there was some people who filled in because she was also the softball coach. This year you got new football coaches. The head coach is Coach Inman. The assistant coach is Coach West and Coach Moore. All 3 of them coach high school boys football. And, of course, that's in the fall. So now they have their spring to where their coaches can be available. But a lot of the girls that you're going to see on, and I was looking today, they don't have the roster yet for flag football. Some of these people have rosters already put in. They do. So the girls that you're going to hear some of these names, and you're going to say, well, I've heard this name before. But you got Blakemore, Adriana.
Oh, yeah.
Lamberth, Allison Lamberth, Amelia Birdwell. They did it backwards. They went last name first. Leave it to Coach Inman. Amelia Birdwell. Ariel Lindsay. Heard that name. She's right now playing basketball. Ayla Reeser, Bethany Pike, Brianna Roberts, Caroline Cole, Kate Robinson, Dulce Orozco, Emily Hester, Emma Moore, Faith Rodenberger, Isabel Woods, Janae Garrett, Kaylee Cornett, Kayeva Bradley, that name, she's playing basketball right now, Kenzie Biggs, Kenley Pence, Leila Kay, Madison Mays, Michaela Everett, Mallory Allen, McKinley Thornton, Maya Petty, Michaela Thornton. I think you called her name last night, didn't you? Did you not call her name?
No, but she's a manager for the
Okay.
girls basketball team.
Now, like Paul, Sadie Clifton, and Tanisha Jackson. That is your flag football roster.
So, Coach Thayer got his wish. Bradley and Paul got to see if they're wide receivers.
Guarantee it. No doubt. You got to have a quarterback to get to him.
I want to see the defense. I was talking with Coach Inman a little bit. I think we did the one broadcast where they went down Liberty Creek and kind of watching the defense. You know, you can play man, you can play zone. I think it's – and when I say spacing, they have to know their spacing. It's not so much, yes, they play on a smaller field. It's not a whole 100-yard field. It's not as wide. It's a 53.5, yards going across and all that. When I say spacing is you have to know what your area is that you're guarding if you're playing zone. Last year it looked like we didn't know where our spacing was, and a lot of people were open and stuff. With Coach Inman and Moore and Coach West and everybody coaching them, having a little bit more knowledge of that. I'm really excited to see how the defense does this year on the flag football team. We know half the roster, and they play other sports, and we know when we watch them play the sports and stuff. I'm like you said, Coach. I'm excited about seeing some of these ladies play. We even got one that has got a scholarship already to play flag football at the next level in collegiate and everything. So to be a junior and already have one to play, I'm excited to see.
To realize that there are colleges that give out scholarships for it now, and that may be this may be the first year they've done that.
Could be, but when we was 2 years ago said that we had a team, a video game playing team, and we got a kid who got a scholarship to go play video games in college.
Who would ever have thought?
Would never thought that, But flag football, they like I said, they play March 5th at Westmoreland for the Westmoreland Smith County. I guess it's a jamboree or invitation, whatever, and then they play at Hendersonville on March 17th, and then the 20th they play at Liberty Creek, and then the 24th they play at Gallatin. So it's not a week at a time. They'll have 1 or 2 days in there, and they'll play again. And they only have one home game. And
2.
Do they have 2?
Yeah, if you and Kyle can have time off your busy schedules, you'll be calling the first game on April 2nd. I won't be involved because I have a baseball game. But I'm going to let Coach Tater not come to the baseball game so he can help out with all the running of the clocks and all that kind of stuff that Coach Tater does.
April 2nd and April 16th are the 2 home games that.
Right, and then we're going to do the 16th again.
And that's that's the other home game.
Yeah, and I'll be here for that one.
So I don't know if this is right. I'm looking at the District 9 teams for girls flag football. There's 13 teams on here. That can't be right.
Who are they?
You think?
Well,
we'll tell you.
They probably don't have A, B, AA, single A, triple A. They're probably just all under one category, right?
It could be. Beach, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Portland, Station Camp, Watertown, Westmoreland, White House, Wilson Central, Green Hill, and Liberty Creek.
Yeah, well,
so they combine.
Watertown,
they combine Wilson. They combine Wilson County and Sumner County.
Right, and there's no A classifications. They're all under the same.
Yeah.
So
umbrella.
we probably won't be playing all those teams.
We've got.
How many games do we got?
Watertown's got a good baseball
1, 2,
team.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got 13 games.
Okay. Do we just play one team per go around this time?
Well, the April 16th, when we're playing at home, we have Station Camp / Hendersonville.
Okay.
April 7th, we play away. We have Station Camp / Liberty Creek. When we play at home again, April 2nd, we have Beach / Wilson Central.
So 3. How would they do that? Each team gets to play 2 games, and you have
one team gets the rest.
So you end up having 6 games. I don't know.
4.
I'll let y'all figure it out.
4 games.
Yeah, it's too early.
No, 3 games. 3 games. 3 games. 3 games.
Okay.
Because we do that in baseball too sometimes.
Okay. But so that flag football, they were 3 and 5 last year, and so they played 8 games this year. They're doubling up. But I say 16 games, 13 games. So they added 5 more games. You got more teams coming in, and so we'll see how that goes. Then you have your district tournament and everything, and get into playoffs and stuff like that. But
new rule that they've added: punting now. They will, last
allow
year,
you to punt. Last year you just said you're going to punt.
You marked it off 30 yards.
I don't
and
like
turned
the
it
punt
around.
rule.
Now they're punting.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
If you got somebody who can kick it, that's
I
better
bet
than
most
marking it
coaches
off.
would rather have the 30 yards. We'll see.
So, boys soccer, They start on the 2nd. They've played 2 scrimmages already. They fell 4-0 in one of them and 2-1 in the other. But
they were playing the other
start.
night in the rain.
They actually play Monday, Tuesday, Thursday of this week coming up, March 2nd, March 3rd, March 5th. They play Smith County on the 2nd. They play Hunters Lane on the 3rd, and they play Macon County on the 5th. All 3 games are at home. And so Monday, Smith County, it's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Hunters Lane on the 3rd will be 7 p.m. and Macon County on the 5th will be at 7 p.m. But they're all home at the boys soccer field over there. Last year they went 11-5-3, 4-2 in the district. They had a heavy senior laden team last year under Coach Tuttle. Coach Tuttle is now no longer the coach. Coach Josh Cooper is now the coach. So his first year, he gets to come in and kind of make his mark and everything and see if he can continue the success that the soccer program has had for the last couple of years under Coach Tuttle.
Yeah, Coach Tuttle's a class act. That's all I can say.
Definitely. And so that's what's going on with boys soccer. Tennis, we don't have a tennis. Softball, they start March 3rd. They play Gallatin here at home. They play at 5 o'clock. On March 4th, they go to White House Heritage. They play at 5 o'clock at White House Heritage. And then they go on spring break. And then they come back. On the 16th, they'll play at Franklin Simpson at 5:30. And on the 17th, they'll play at Bowling Green at 5:30. So they have one home game this week, which is the 3rd at 5 o'clock. And then they go on spring break, wherever they're going spring break to do their stuff. And then they come back with 3 away games. And but they ended up 11-15 overall, 5-2 in the district. And I guess that's what kind of took everybody by surprise was the way the record was going and how the season was going. All of a sudden they caught fire going into the district play. Went 5-2, went into the district tournament. I guess you can sit there and say surprised people. Won the district tournament, went into regional play, and I think won that first game and then caught, was it Montgomery Central that they caught?
For which one?
At in the regional finals and everything, I think it was that we lost.
Station Camp, I think, was the regional
it
finals.
was
the game we lost was in Substate or sectional.
Okay, so I tell you what, let me go find.
Are you
this.
talking about when we lost and then came back and won again?
We lost in the end of the season.
Okay.
I can't help you with that subject right now. I'm sorry.
Creekwood.
Well, that was a sectional game.
It was Creekwood. We lost. Yeah, we ended up beating Station Camp 6-1, which put us in the sectionals. And so that was because we beat Station Camp, MLK, and Station Camp again, and that was the run through the district, and then we got into the sectionals, and we got caught Creekwood, and they had the pitcher, and we just couldn't do it. It was at home, had a big crowd. It was nice to see the big crowd and everything, and first time ever for them to get this far and to win the district and all that. I had all the accolades. I went back to try to see the news media on it, and it was already wiped off the Portland Sports, or not Portland Sports, but the Portland app. And yeah, so Coach Tucker is coming back. We'll go over their roster a little bit.
That was an awesome time too, by the way.
So
making that run, it was. I mean, that was just
was fun. The softball roster is Keely Turner, Ariana Weatherford, Kieva Bradley. So you got Kieva Bradley playing basketball, flag football, and softball. So it is 3 sports all in one time. Too much, Coach. What's your thought?
I don't know. Is she good at anything other than basketball? I mean, that's the key is how much the teams are weighing. If she's just doing it for participation kind of thing, it's not a real big deal. But if she's one of the starters, and she's not doing anything till basketball's over, that's the whole key.
Right.
She's not going to any practices. But splitting flag football and softball, if she's really good at one or the other, I'm not doing things at the same time. Is not a good idea. There's no way you can handle it the way you need to handle it.
Kieva Bradley, Gracie Averett, Raylan Napier, Kristen Shelton, Brooklyn Davies, Morgan Sells, Addie McKelvey, Story Russell, Kendall Gregory, McKinley Thornton, Annabelle Thompson, Brianna Roberts, Michael Thornton, Mikkel Thornton, Lillian McLean, and is it Keegan Marshall? That's your 2026 roster on softball as of right now, according to the Portland at.
You know what I mean, right? If you're
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah.
participating in them, then sure, go ahead and go for it. But if you're a star or a starter on one of those, it's you need your downtime, and
It would
if you're not
be
going to have any
yes.
downtime, it's going to be tough
Your
for you
your body needs
physically.
rest.
Yeah.
It'd be just like Sean Sebring playing football, playing basketball, and then playing baseball.
All in the same season.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, some of that nature. He's not playing. He's playing. He's on the basketball team. He's not playing a whole lot. So it's not like he's wearing his body down to that point. Game wise, practice wise,
practices are
yes,
tough.
yes. You beat me to
Basketball,
it.
is there anything you're going to lose weight? You're going to lose weight in basketball.
Oh, definitely. I watched Avery do that. You know that, and then doing track and field. You know, and I'm not saying I agree with you there. Depending on what you're doing, if you're a starter in all of them, by all means, try to do it. If you have
Right.
the ability
And
to
the
do
track and field thing, it's like I did both in high school. I ran track and I played baseball. Baseball was always first, and you have to have those conversations. I've actually this week had a deal with my parents trying to explain to them moving forward that they need to get involved with their athlete. In this case, it's their son, and their coaches if they're dual sport athletes. And a lot of parents make the athlete go talk to the coach about stuff like that. That's not the athlete's responsibility. The parents need to have a meeting with the coach, adult to adult, and explain your deal. Period. It's like with us, with basketball and baseball. We told Coach Kington every year we had a meeting with him. And we said in the summertime, if we have a baseball game, we're not showing up to any play day activities, any basketball stuff. Period. Absolutely not. We want our son, that's what he's going to concentrate in the summer. And are you good with this? Right? That was the key. Are you good with it? If he's not good with it, then we're not. You got to make a decision, right? You got to decide. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Is baseball not as important as we thought it was, or you quit basketball? But you kids don't need to be having those conversations alone. The parents need to have the conversations with the coach. So that's critically important. And as long as you're up front with the coach and they sign off on it, then there should be no hardship
yeah,
going on
definitely.
at all. Even though I guess I shouldn't say it, but my son's senior year of basketball, never mind, we'll just let it go. But it just got thrown up in his face one time at the awards banquet. It was just the worst time for it to get thrown in his face, I think. But everybody's human, right? It's everybody, it's tough to make
But,
everybody happy. But you got to have those conversations with the coaches, and the parents need to be the ones having them.
with the but I know we lost some seniors last year off the softball team, but listen to the names that I just called out for the roster for softball, and I think the pitcher we had last year was a
Yeah.
young pitcher. We got her coming back,
Yes,
right?
yeah, Davies. Yeah, she'll be
And
coming
so-
back, and she's the one that kind of got hot last year. Her
And so you have, and I'm a big college softball guy, and so you can have a pitcher take you a long way and everything, but you need to have a backup. You need to have hitters.
Well, they're going to eventually hit the ball, too. You better
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a
I was
little
going to say
defense.
you're not going to sit there and be dominant every game, and you're going to have your bats, around and everything. But some of the athletes I've watched that I just called out, and I've watched them play basketball. This year, I like the, how their mindset is, and so I'm excited about the softball and to kind of see how they go and do this year. Baseball. Baseball they ended up 13-15 last year. They went 2-5 in the district. Their schedule, they got Coach Steinbrecher coming back in as the head coach. As soon as he finishes with basketball, he'll go straight to baseball. His assistant coaches right now are handling practices and everything. But baseball has had some scrimmages already. They start their season starting Monday. It's like I think Coach Thayer made a comment last night on the basketball broadcast last night. They go to Kirkwood Monday for their first official game. They come back on Tuesday on the 3rd and play Kirkwood again, home and home there. They go on the 6th over to Murfreesboro Central, and then wherever they're heading for spring break
Gulf
to do
Shores,
their
I
stuff.
think.
Okay. And then they'll come back, and on March 16th they play Westmoreland at home. All those games will be at 6:30. So the game at home against Kirkwood on March 3rd, which is Tuesday, will be at 6:30 over at the Panther Baseball Field. And then also on the 6th, Murfreesboro Central is at home, and that's at 6:30 and everything to give you a couple dates right there. Talking about the roster for baseball, Isaiah Patton Kevin Cook, Tristan Calvert, J.J. Shrum, Aiden Akridge, Landon Taylor, Caden Lane, Bill McLaughlin, Jace Wright, Austin Holmes, Weston Napier, Braden Callis, Fisher Berry, Devin Cook, Josiah Sharklet, Evan Brown, Trevor Carlton, Bryson Cottle, Easton Harden, Levi Justice, Aaron May, Timothy Spears, and Bobby Wilburn are shown right now on the 2026 roster for baseball. And so again, kind of year, you would know more insight than me, Coach. What's your thoughts on this year's team, and what's the expectations there?
Well, just to be perfectly honest, this is going to be it's going to dry up a little bit after this year as far as numbers. There's going to be some good kids up there, but you got to have numbers. There's 9 people that's got to go on a baseball field. So I always call them generational classes. After this season, it's going to thin out a little bit. It's going to be harder on the kids that are left. They're going to have to pick it up a little bit. There's just not enough of them. The younger ones are going to have to come in and play early on. There's some good kids on the team. I love probably half the starting team I've got a good relationship with. They just got to mentally get right. They can't sweat the little stuff. They can't live game to game. They should know by now baseball's a game that you can go a week without hitting a ball, and it just is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't make your expectations too high, but don't make them too low. Just take care of business every single game. And the one thing that I was mad at them last year, and I've told them all, and I don't care if I do it on the air, is when I showed up to watch them play a game, and I always like to get there early to watch warm-ups, they were walking around too much. One of my rules on a baseball field is when you're on the field, past the dugout, you're running. You don't have to run sprint, and you don't have to look like Forrest Gump, running 100 miles an hour. But you got to have a little step in what you're doing. And when I showed up last year, right before their playing game, the game before they went to play in their playing game, they didn't have that step. It was almost like their attitude was they were doing me a favor by being there, right? Or it just wasn't right. There were that little that you got to have on a baseball field wasn't there, and it wasn't Coach Stein's fault. I'm not blaming him. It was the kids.
It's an attitude.
And I ripped their rear ends, the ones I knew. Right when they came in the dugout, I said, "You guys aren't going to win the playoff. You're going to lose in the playoff game. Absolutely, in less than 3 days, you can turn us around." And they didn't turn it around, and it was just the lackadaisical approach to the game of baseball. You cannot have that at all.
That's any sport. To jump on what you're saying there, I can tell you something I did for the last 2-3 years with the football team, and and it's funny because they look around to see if you're close. I would sit there and tell them. I said we'd lift weights in the afternoon and then go into the indoor, and we'd stretch and get warmed up, and then we put our pads on, and then we hit the practice field. And I would tell them, I said, as soon as you step on this grass on the practice field, you're running, you're jogging to wherever you got to go. If we're doing special teams, get to where you need to go. If you're doing extra work because you're not on special teams and you're supposed to be over here on the shoot doing lineman stuff, and stuff like that, or
if you're not sure, jog in place until you figure out where. If you're confused, just jog in place until you figure it out.
And I would get out there and make sure I get out there, and I'd sit there and I'd watch them, and some of them will sit there and walk with their helmet, on their hand, and they walk onto the practice field, and I holler at them, and I say, hey, come back to the track. Get your helmet on, strap it up, and then go jog where you need to go. And that's just a mindset you got to have. You can't go out there, like you said, lackadaisical, going, oh my gosh, here comes practice. I don't feel like I know you ain't going to feel like practicing every day. But you got to have an attitude toward it to where you're out here. Why not make yourself better? Why not get better? Why would you get out here and spend 2 to 3 hours in this heat or in the cold, wherever it may be, or in the rain, and you're not going to gain nothing from it, So while you're out here, go ahead and make forth the effort. But
everything matters.
It got to a point where they start, and as they get to the grass, they start looking around to see if they can see me, because I wouldn't stand in the same spot. I would sit there and stand, somewhere here, and I holler at them, and they already knew. So as they look around, and all of a sudden they couldn't see me, but they start running there.
I did the same thing during a game. I spend more time looking in the dugout than I do on paying to. Because I want to watch what my kids are doing. If I'm having a kid that's having a bad day, what's he doing? Is he cheering his teammates on? I give you an at-bat or two to kind of pout if you got out, go do whatever you got to do, kind of gather yourself, have a drink. But then you got to pick it back up and engage your teammates and be ready to go. If you go over in a corner and you're pouting and you're whining and not engaged with your team, or the biggest pet peeve I've got in the whole world is since they built that baseball facility over there, and Coach Stein doesn't allow it as much as some of our past coaches. But when a kid would get out, they would do a little temper tantrum
And go into
to go into the, to let everybody in the stands see them huff and puff. You ain't doing that on my field. That door's locked. If you got to go use the bathroom, I'm good with it. But we're not going to see your rear end when you don't something no good. That's not what it's all about. You suck it up. You take you a drink of water, and then you get back engaged in the game. You don't go huffing puffing in the locker room like you're a pro baseball player. That irritates the crap out of me worse than about anything in the world. But Coach Stein, he doesn't let them do that, thank goodness. But we have had some that would, and it's wrong. You can't let them do that, because once you start getting that mentality, it's going to go downhill on you really quick.
I want to say that I'm going to announce track and field does have their roster. I want to go down their roster real quick to name those kids who play there. Here comes your training coach. You've been waiting for all morning. But tennis and soccer do not have their roster on this app. So that's why we didn't announce them or who's out for those sports right now. But for track and field, for the 2026 roster, you have Lillian Angel, Gracie Averett, Kinsley Barker, Jaden Barnes, Camden Bean, Aiden Bell, Gary Bon Ryan, Jay Burnley, William Caudle, Kristen Crosby, Keelan Dalton, Blake Daughtry, Cameron Dillard, Michael Doris, Emiliano Duke, Lorenzen Fletcher, Reese Fletcher, Elijah Freeman, Wade Funk, Aiden Green, Alexander Hernandez Olarte, Sidney Herrick, Henry Hester, Elijah Huddleston, Josh Kent, Bentley Loftus, Haley Lupersbeck, Jeremiah Martin, Matthew Morris, Caleb Mulligan, Wyatt Napier, Alex Niswanger, Aiden Parker, Jackson Poole, Haley Rivera, Riley Rubio, Mark Savage, Michael Schwab, Sean Sebring, Reginald Shannon, Alex Swift, Zoe Thornton, Quentin Totten, Rachel Trubenbach, Cadence Webb, and Isabella Woods. Doing good to the last couple of names there.
You almost had it.
But that's your track and field for 2026, and that's what they put on the roster as of right now. There could be kids either taken off or put on, but
Henry Hester, I wonder what event he'll be majoring in this year.
I don't know. They go with one player that could help the baseball team, but he gave it up 4 years ago at Keelan Dalton. He was a great first baseman.
But
he really was.
But that's your spring sports, guys. We got a lot of teams here. We're going to try to get coverage on. Try to keep updates with everybody on the Facebook. We're going to try to sit there and get to at least one game for everybody. Like I said, we got, I think, 3 games for softball, 5 for baseball. If we can get more, we'll get
2
more.
for flag football.
2 for flag football. I'm not against traveling for flag football, and if we can, if I got time, and because like you said, with baseball, you got guests coming in. If you and Kyle have something going on, and I can go, and we can always sit there and I can always grab someone and do a broadcast with them, or same thing with both of y'all or whatever. And summertime hits, I'd like to get out to the youth parks and maybe get a game or 2 there, just give them some spotlight and let the people know what we're about. And this is what you're going to get when you start getting into sports here in the town. And we'll try to sit there and expose all the sports that we can and stuff. And
as far as the youth league, we got to do that quick because they shut their seasons down pretty soon. So we'll need to get their schedules the minute they
I'll get with Mike
ready.
Moore and everything and see.
Because one team I'm following, I think the Bananas, Derek Boyd, that's his team. I don't think they've got any games on their schedule yet.
But we'll see what we get there. Guys, we're just gonna go straight into basketball here and talk. We'll go I give a little bit of highlights here. Let me girls basketball. They ended up in second place in the regular season. Liberty Creek was first. Got into the district tournament play and ended up taking second place with Liberty Creek taking first place in the district. But Kyle, I'll let you go through who made all district players and then who made the district tournament team for the girls softball. and then kind of go into what we had last night, and then what we got coming forward, and kind of predictions we got going forward with that, if you don't mind.
So for the Lady Panthers, we'll start with the district tournament. Of course, as a team, they came up runner-up to Liberty Creek, 48-40, and we could probably talk 10 minutes on that game. How exciting, how a roller coaster ride that game was. But for your all-district tournament team, it was Nylock Paul and Addie McKelvey. But going through the regular season and looking at the all-district team, it was Kieva Bradley and Nylock Paul. And the junior, Gorchek Moot, gets the district MVP for the season. Nobody's surprised there. She had over 15 points per game, shot 70% from the free throw line, had almost 5 rebounds a game. I wish I kept up with steals. I forgot to bring that in to see how well she did on that. And Coach of the Year for District 9 3A, Coach Scott Stein.
Yeah, he deserved it big time.
And really the stat that comes out to me is that I said last night, they've won now 13 of their last 16 games, and only one team has defeated them in their last 16 games.
Maybe they'll get lost on the way to the gym before we play them the next game.
That would help. But, you know, hey, a 48-40 loss in that district championship game, maybe they realize, you know, if we play our game, if we don't make those turnovers and don't make those silly mistakes, then we can hang with this group, and who knows what happens.
As well as if you lose that game, you still advance. You just have to advance on the road because that'll be the finals of the regional, right?
Right.
Yeah. So not that I'm saying they're going to lose. That's not what I'm saying.
What
what's the bright side on the other side of the tunnel or whatever they say. That would be the bright thing is if we haven't figured it out by then, we still have a chance to get to the state. So that's the good part.
What I liked about that game, and I know I don't do a lot of commenting during the basketball games and stuff, was we were down by 21, I think, is the most that we were down at one time was 21 going into mid-third quarter, I think it was. And it's like all of a sudden something just turned on, and we started figuring out how to block out the big girl in the middle and get some rebounds and start making some shots. And you took it from 21 points down to, I think we got it down to 6. Was it 6 the best we did? Or
8.
I know we lost by 8 and everything,
That
but
was
that's
the
as close as we got was 8. And but to bring it that close and to make it, it actually started becoming a game. And I think it started getting Liberty Creek a little scared on what was going on. And but give it to Liberty Creek. They made baskets when they needed to make baskets, and they made plays.
Yeah,
when
they just
needed
fed
to.
the post when it got tight,
And,
and she took care of it.
We had a hard time blocking out. Is her last name West?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Blocking out West down. And I think that's the one thing that I would be trying to figure out how to get her out of the paint somehow, or get positioned to where
Wheelbarrow.
But she's a good athlete. I mean, she's going to take Liberty Creek. And she's a pitcher for Liberty Creek softball, and they're going. She took them to the state. Was it to the state last year? So that she's an athlete, and she's just
first time I believe ever that there was a perfect game in the softball state championship tournament, and it was her.
So good athlete right there. But that's like you said, to have 3 losses in the 16 games, and it's all 3 are from Liberty Creek. You got a chance to see them for the 4th time. And, it's one of those, it's like Herb Brooks said in the Myrtle on Ice. You play Russians 10 times and they might beat you 9. But tonight, you win this game. So guess what? You lost to them 3 times. Maybe tonight you sit there and it's the one game that you win.
So with that runner-up finish, they got to get a home game in the first round of the regionals. And that game was last night. Martin Luther King, the Lady Royals, and they come out with a win 50-18. That sets up a match coming Monday night against Ballard Collegiate Prep, and that'll be at their gym, 7 o'clock Monday night, and it's a big game. Lose that game, your season is over. Win, of course, you go to the region championship game. They'll be played Wednesday.
It'll be a tough hoe to row. Is that what it's the thing?
I think it's close.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game for sure.
Let's say tough row to hoe. How about that?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what I said.
Okay, I thought you said tough hoe to row.
I don't know what I said, but everybody knows. That's a good thing about our audience.
It's a farming term.
They're very intelligent, and they know what I'm saying before I even say it. So that's good. It's going to be tough. I think we can do it, but if they beat Springfield by 12, which kind of relates to us. I think we beat Springfield once by 6 or 8, and then beat them once by, I don't know, 16. You're the stat guy. So that's a game that you look at, right? We
Yeah.
beat Springfield,
Yeah.
they beat Springfield.
The first time we played Springfield at home, we won by like 25.
'Kay.
And then when we went to Springfield, we won by 8.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird.
I was surprised that that game wasn't a little closer, which it was. I think late in the third, Springfield was only down by 3. I really thought Springfield, because Springfield had kind of been playing real well, girls
Right.
and boys.
I mean, that game's
the
at
last couple
7:30,
weeks.
so you'll have 30 more minutes to
Okay,
get
7:30.
tacos
You're
or
right.
something.
You're right. You're right, because they got Liberty Creek be playing Station Camp. Is it in that
Yeah,
first
Liberty
game?
Creek Station Camp at 6.
So only one team left from District 11. I mean District 10, and that's the host school.
Yeah. And if Portland can win, you never know, they might flip it and say, let's go play somewhere else. I don't know anything about Valor Prep. I don't know how all in they are or not. A lot of schools, the
They're in
minute
Brentwood.
they can get out of it, well, they're actually Valor Prep's in South Nashville, in the
Just
Nolensville
outside-
Road area,
just outside of
by the
Brentwood.
hospital down there. But I used to live 5 minutes away from there, in the old
Before there was a Valor
old
Prep, right?
days, huh?
You lived there before there was a Valor Prep.
Yeah, there wasn't a Valor Prep, but where the building is actually, a lot of baseball people, young Tusculum Tusculum Elementary School. That's the home of the little Dixie youth team. I mean the Little League team that did so good from Nashville 3 or 4 years in a row. That's where they're kind of out of till they moved over to Nolensville. But it's right there in that little pocket of Nashville. Tough to get to. Allow yourself. I'm a good hour and 15-minute drive because it's that time of day. It's going to be tough.
Okay.
And then you can flip a coin either coming down 24 or coming to 65. It just depends which traffic's backed up because it's kind of in between both, so to speak. But when you start getting Harding Lane and all that, it can just be a total cluster. I think I'm going to go down 24 is the way I'm going to go. But it's in South Nashville, and they've got a lot of good Mexican restaurants or food trucks and that kind of stuff. I don't know which one to tell you to go to, but I just know that it's.
He knows he's not telling you the one he's going to, though, is what
Right,
he said last time.
because I've never been there, so it could be a disaster, and then you can get mad at me. But I know that area is really huge on Mexican food trucks and restaurants too. So I mean, if you like Mexican food, go down a little earlier and grab you something. I'm going to carry it in the game with me in my backpack.
I just think it's so exciting for the girls program. I mean, it wasn't that far ago that you're just excited that you got to the regionals.
Yeah, we talked last night when you mentioned that, and last
now
night's
it's
game
like,
was boring.
If we would have lost the regional quarterfinals, it would have been like, well, this is just a ruined season. And it wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't just a few years ago. Getting to that game
was
an
great.
outstanding
Yeah,
season.
and then
Now
winning
it's
it
like,
the way they
well,
won
we're
it.
here, but we need to win it.
Yeah. And last night's game, the score didn't indicate how bad we beat them. I mean, they were never in it, ever. It was over the minute, and we just tinkered with them for a while. Then the minute we decided we wanted to do some half court traps and press, it was like, meh. Push the
That
ticket.
is strange how that worked, wasn't it?
Yeah, end it all. Well, Coach Stein, I think he just knew. Coach Stein.
Well, we were
student of
missing
the
open
game.
shots.
Yeah, but
and I think he felt like the energy wasn't quite there, so
Right.
he said, "Okay, here we go."
He knows what he's
let's do our
doing.
game, and yeah, when they got to playing that pressure defense and guarding in the backcourt, it turned things around, got them some easy buckets, and,
Yeah.
and that got them energized and ready to go.
Coach Stein and his staff, they know what they're doing. They do a good job.
Yeah.
We're
But,
lucky to have him up here.
Monday
coaching.
night's going to be a very, very tough game because you're looking at Valor Collegiate 21-5 coming into that game.
The deal is, I don't think they'll have a big home crowd. We'll see. I could be wrong, but that part of Nashville normally just doesn't draw towards high school sports. They're right close to Glencliff and all that stuff, and they're just. We'll see. But the gym could be packed. They might give
I
their
heard it's a
students
small gym, is
extra
what I've
credit
heard, but,
points.
so we'll see how that works
Right.
out.
So that means go even earlier.
Maybe. I was told by a couple of people that they wouldn't be surprised if Portland outdrew the home team.
But I wouldn't. We do that a lot of times anyway.
True.
But
That is
yeah,
true.
down in that part of Nashville, you're going to most of the time period.
You'll get moms and dads, and that's about all you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, but
So I'm happy for them. I'm excited for them. I think it's gonna be a good game.
So
and yes, they can win that game Monday night.
if we
Yeah,
lose,
no doubt.
season's done.
Correct.
If we win, we're looking at what date?
Wednesday.
Wednesday at what time?
I don't know. I'll get it against
Wednesday.
Liberty Creek more than likely. There's no doubt Liberty Creek's gonna
Liberty
be-
Creek's playing Station Camp, and so the winner of that game will go to Wednesday night 7 p.m.
7
which will be
p.m.
the championship game.
We win. We face the winner of the
That game.
Liberty Creek Station Camp
Mm-hmm.
to be official about it, not just say it's going to be Liberty Creek. But then
And then
the
that's where
1 and 2 go into.
that's where you can lose. Yeah, if
and-
you
and
win the
then
region.
move on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, if you win the region, then you get to host that sectional, which used to be called Substate. And if you lose, you'll have to go on the road. And speaking of that, Creekwood, the girls lost last night in the first round of the regionals, and they're now out of it. They were
Yeah, against Franklin
undefeated-
County.
undefeated in their
Yeah,
district.
number 1 and 4 seed. So let's
Right.
look at that real
Well,
quick.
it's strange because Franklin County, they tied for the number 1 seed going in to the tournament, and I didn't get the scores, but evidently they lost 2 games, which is strange because Franklin County is supposed to be a pretty good team. So you had a team that before the district started, you would have thought that'd have been more like a semifinal or final matchup, and then it ended up being played in the first round.
Yeah, Giles County won their game in that little quad. Lawrence County won theirs, and Tullahoma won theirs. So
Yeah, and I think
that's
they're
all in the
I
same
think they're all district
district.
District 12s.
Yeah.
So Eric Creekwood and all their bunch is out of it. So I thought that was I would
Yeah.
have considered that a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, well, we talked last night. Normally your 1s are going to win, and your 2s should win, and then your 3-4s lose.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
it's
just
split.
the history of Creekwood, though, is what I
Right.
was getting at, and
Yeah.
that's who we played last year in the sectionals. Was
Right.
Creekwood, and Creekwood's always there every year. So just to see them go out that early,
Right,
was-
especially a
was
1
kind
and
of a shock.
4 situation.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
So that sets the table for the girls' basketball. Men's basketball, they play tonight. So if you got nothing to do, come out to Portland High School. They play at 7:00. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're doing the broadcast, and I'm
I'm
that's
sorry.
a softball. I just tossed it up there for you, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we played 7.
I was engaged in something else. It's my fault.
7 p.m. at against Valor Prep here at Portland High School.
And so, if you got nothing to do tonight, want to come on out and support the boys. I know Coach Thayer has been really talking a lot about the concession stand with the quarterback club. It's taken their menu from the football field over to the basketball, and they're presenting their food over there. So if you want to get there, and I had the pretzel the other night, they were great. I had the
Beignet
funnel
fries.
cake. The funnel cake fries or beignet fries, what you want to call them. They're pretty good there. Hot dogs were good. Kyle, I think you had a hot hamburger the other day.
Oh, it was
You
excellent.
know, all the food is good. You can actually have a meal there if you want.
Chicken
And
tenders.
Chicken tenders vouched for because last year during the football, Donna brought some up to the booth
they got
for everybody, and that was pretty good.
pulled pork nachos. And
I never
everything.
turned that down, by the way.
But they played tonight. But
And-
to kind of go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to, if you want to see, you need to come out and see this basketball team. I mean,
The
they've
boys.
got they've got
Portland's.
everything. 3-point shooting when they're on, then they look good from there. They got the inside play. They got the drives to the basket. Everybody can do everything. The defense is outstanding.
If you want fast pace, and give you fast pace. They, can slow
do
it down
that.
if they want.
It's just a very fun team. 9 seniors on this team, so they're going out there to try to make a name for their last go round, and I love watching them play.
But to kind of recap what they've done, they finished the regular season as regular season champions. They went into district play and won district, so they ended up becoming the district champions also there. And then with the all district players and then all tournament team players, Kyle, that you have that one, and you can kind of go through there, and then you can kind of go through what they got tonight and what they got kind of looking forward to
So-
after tonight.
Right. So we'll start with the all tournament team for the boys from that district. By the way, a rare double to win the regular season and win the tournaments for on the boys' side.
Yeah, that doesn't
as
happen a
often
whole
as you
lot.
would think. girls' side is a little bit more common, but the boys' side is not. So for the all tournament team, you had Nate Honeycutt and Keelan Dalton, and then your MVP for the tournament was Tristan Calvert, which we agreed with that greatly because it didn't matter. Yeah, he scored. I mean, he was double digits in points. Was good from the free throw line, but without his guard play and ball handling, I don't think we'd be where we're at right now.
No, he sets the tone. He makes us go downhill.
Mhm.
Last year we settled for threes way too much. We'd get late in the game, a team would make a run on us, we'd freak out and just start firing them up. He doesn't allow that anymore. He knows getting it inside the paint, get those fouls called against the other team, getting some point blank shots is the way to go.
And
He's
how
grown
many-
up so much in just a year, it's unbelievable.
And how many times have we said after a game when you go over the stats and you'll say Calvert 2 turnovers or less, and I'm thinking, are you sure you need to look at that again?
Yeah, he doesn't
there's
make
no way
some-
a point guard
but the
can only
way-
have 2 turnovers or less.
Right, and the way that we attack the rim, you're going to have a few times more because sometimes the rotation's not there to help you out.
Mhm.
You're in Never Never Land, so you're either going to get your shot blocked, you're going to have a turn. It just happens. It's when you go fast like that, bad things can happen. Most time, good things happen. But
Yeah.
you also have to have your guys coming in behind you so you know where to feed off in a bad situation. You get up and get ready to hit a shot, and you realize the guy's a foot taller than me, and he's getting ready to plant that ball right back in my face. Knowing that someone's a foot away or 2 feet away on the side to go consistently helps you.
Mhm.
And we do a good job. That's the thing I like about this team is we're really quick around the rim, and we come from a lot of different angles, and everybody will attack the rim.
So looking at the regular season all-district team, Nate Honeycutt, Tristan Calvert, and Keelan Dalton got regular season MVP for this year, and he was averaging right at 15 points per game, over 8 rebounds a game. So that wasn't a surprise. Coach of the year, Coach John Ferguson. So a clean sweep for the Portland Panthers for MVP and Coach of the Year in the regular season.
Yeah, and the thing about the MVP deal, I thought it worked out perfect, to be honest with you, because you could have thrown Key in the mix for tournament MVP as well because he had 2 really good games.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was you didn't give anybody anything. Tristan Calvert totally earned it, but it depended on what perspective you are and which way you like basketball is the way you pick, right? If you're an inside kind of guy and like guys around the rims and that kind of deal, you're always going to lean towards Key because that's where he's really good. If you like point guard play or guard play, then, I just thought it worked out
Or
perfect.
two-handed dunks from the baseline.
Right, but I just think it worked out perfect as far as team continuity that they both got an MVP. And it wasn't, there's a lot of times it looks like some of these coaches give things to people that I'm not 100% sure.
No,
they earned.
100%.
But this,
That's another off the rails week.
yeah, but this was totally above. There was no way because during the broadcast late, I said I think Calvert's MVP of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody, I
think,
love
yeah.
Keelan Dalton. If you haven't been listening,
I
you ain't
think
been
you could
paying
have swapped the
attention.
two if you wanted. I think Calvert could have sat there and got MVP of the district in the regular season, and Key could have got the MVP of the tournament.
He
you know?
could. I think during the regular season, though,
well,
Key game in, game out, kind of set the tone for what everybody was trying to do for us, and he kind of held the torch all the way through. I'm not taking anything away from it. The bottom line is neither one of them get MVP if it isn't for the other 6 guys on the court. We go 7 deep, and even though Cottle come in against Station Camp, some valuable few minutes, if you remember, that could have lost us a district
Sidnor.
championship. Sidnor's really picked up. But
He did well in the
Sidnor's
tournament.
always been in the 7 deep. He gets rotation in. Cottle doesn't rotate in consistently. And in the Station Camp game, he came in and gave, I don't remember how many minutes, but when he
had 2 or
came
3
in,
there at the end,
I kind of looked at it like, here we go. He's coming in because we need that size. And he held his own. He did a really
And
good
I think
job.
Evan Brown came in, and he's the one that led the defense there when we were down to Station Camp.
Yeah, and on paper, Evan is the 6th man off.
Yeah,
the bench. He's like, we have 6 starters, and Evan is the 6th guy. It is what it is.
Well, just the other day,
He worked hard.
Totten didn't have it. They pulled Totten, put Evan in, and Evan pretty much stayed in the rest of the game and everything. It's just what you got to have. But I think against Station Camp, where we were losing at halftime there, and Evan came out, and I think the whole defense, all 5 players on the court at that time, was playing, just
Right. The one
a
thing that
great
hurt Totten
defense,
is
but
he
I
got
think-
that second foul really quick.
But I think Evan was the one that led that. He was really he can get in your, like you said, he's the guy. He can
He
get in your
pisses
face.
you off.
There you go.
It's just
You
it
know,
is
he
what it
get in
is.
your face,
He
he can do
steps on your
things.
toe if he needs to do that. He's
He
a
can play rough. He
hard
can
nosed
play
kid.
rough. He can be a little bit more,
Nobody
agile with
likes
it,
to be
but-
guarded by Evan Brown. Period.
I still want to know what was said at halftime.
Well, he said in the paper he channeled Coach Kington, and I, being a parent of a kid that played for Coach Kington, I know exactly what he did. He probably didn't throw anything, aka Coach Kington, but some of the words he said was probably, or at least
And I'm talking more. Well,
the
and I'm
tone
talking
in
more
which
about
he
the White
said
House
it.
game, sorry.
I was gonna say,
Right,
I tell you what happened at
when we were
Station Camp.
when we were sleepwalking in that game.
Yeah, the White House is the one where we came out in that third quarter, and I was like, okay, here we are.
Because I can tell you what happened at the station game.
And Coach Ferg, he's good at that. I mean, he's young. He's a young coach, right? He's how many years? What year is this?
This is his fifth season.
Fifth season. He's still learning. I mean, if you're a coach and you don't think you can learn something, you should quit coaching anyway. But he's still young on
He's
a
so
lot of
detailed,
things.
and I love it.
But
I love his X's and O's.
and what I like about him is, like I've said many times on the air, he's a low post kid growing up. That's the position he played. You know what I mean? 4-5. That's what he played his whole life. That's his mentality. And Coach Kington was a real low post kind of guy. So I don't know what they played at the college he went to. No clue. But I just know for him to have that background and to open it up this year, because what he did is we really, quote, don't have I mean, Keelan's been getting a lot of low post points. It's amazing how much he does. And we talked about Avery the other day. I think the one positive, but Avery maybe not playing, is we don't have that extra big man in the blocks, which is giving Key more room to move. You know what I mean? How many times have you seen him where he should be on this side of the goal and make that shot, but he goes to the other side? Well, if we had another big man down in there, there would be another big man sitting in that spot because he'd have nowhere to go. So that's one of the advantages of that. But Coach Ferg, in or out, he would have made it work.
Plus, he had to learn how to play. He had to learn how to play big. Talking about Key.
Right.
He had to learn how to, just like Avery did last year as a junior, he had to learn how to play and use his body and leverage and everything. And that's what Key had to learn. And I think Key learned quickly. And that's what, helped him out and was able for him to be able to do that now. Because like you said, he could be like he's got two guys on him, but all he's got to do is take that one step and he's under the basket, and all of a sudden with his reach and everything, he's on the other side now and he's making baskets,
Right.
not just throwing things up there.
But coming into this year, I thought their strength, without a doubt, and I've said it, was they have 5 to 7 guys that can put the ball on the floor a little bit. There's some guys that don't need to dribble it 5 or 6 times. It is what it is. It's not an insult to anybody, but they can catch it and dribble it and pass it. But we got 7 guys that can do that on the move quickly. And that's a bunch of little gnats going all over the daggone place. And then Nate Honeycutt, the thing is normally have one garbage player a season. We got 3 or 4 that will just get loose balls. Nate's the best out of all of it. But Evan Brown, Totten, all of them do it. It's amazing how well they are athletically and how well they move. And I think that's coming into the season, I thought that was their strength. And Coach Ferguson knew it, and he kind of changed his game a little bit to let that happen. And that says a lot about a coach when you're not so locked into something that you want to do that you can't see the athletes you've got, can't do it. And he did an amazing job with that.
And to show what kind of role that they're on, they've won 17 of their last 19. One of those 2 losses was against Station Camp, and we defeated Station Camp in that district final 73-52. And it was over at halftime pretty much. We were up by 20 going into that.
Yeah, and we had a lethargic third quarter.
Yeah.
And we missed some
True.
really easy shots, got kind of lackadaisical. We could have beat them by 30. Easy. Absolutely easy.
Yeah, we let them kind of come back a little bit.
Just a little bit in the third quarter. Yeah.
But
and if you remember, we probably missed 4 to 5 easy shots. It's just because we had, and that happens because we don't go deep on the bench. You get tired sometimes. Your mind kind of gets off on you. But they could have beat them by 30 that game. But Station Camp 2 was coming off. That's their 3rd game in the district tournament, and we were only on our 2nd game, right? Who was number 2 seed?
Yeah,
Springfield.
Springfield was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that maybe matters. I don't know, but that's what you're supposed to do is when you're coaching, throw all those, tell your kids, hey, we beat them by 20. But you got to have some negatives, right? If you're a good coach, if you just say we beat them by 20, we're the best team in the whole world, blah blah blah, you're going to get beat next time you play them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to say, hey, they were probably tired, so maybe we need to make sure we stay focused on this stuff, because if they were tired, that 20 points can contribute to that, and that's what Coach Ferguson's smart at too. He's not going to ride a high too high. He does it just perfect. That
What-
you got to have confidence, but you can't be stupid confidence.
I know you'll love this stat. Station Camp in that game, 6 of 22 from behind 3. Panthers 3 of 5. 5 3-point attempts in that game.
Yeah,
Didn't have to. Didn't have to shoot.
Didn't have to, and you know when a lot of them were when we already had a lead up on them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that them not living and dying with the threes, and there's a lot of people go, we're a great 3-point shooting team, and okay, but we're winning our games not shooting the threes. We're shooting our games going downhill.
They're a good 3-point shooting team when it's part of the offense. If
Right.
that makes sense.
And don't shoot too soon. That irritates the heck out of me. The two things that drive me nuts is if you come off the bench and the first time you touch a ball, you shoot it. Unless it's a point blank shot, that just get in the flow of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 is when you start getting behind, start firing threes up. That's not when the time to shoot the threes. You got to get points on the board, and going downhill to the bucket is how you do that.
That district championship against Station Camp the other night, I wish you had the stat for fast break points, because a lot of our points came off of that. So if you really sit there and look at that, because we had a lot of steals, a lot of, Station Camp was making some bad throws. We were in position to make it, but we had a lot of fast break points. And I bet you if you sat there and had a stat on that, that would tell you the story of kind of how the game went, how the first quarter went, to how we got such a big lead. And I think it got in Station Camp's head there. And because everything they could do, they couldn't do anything, because even they tried to pass, we'd intercept it. But it goes back to the defense, like Coach Slater was saying. It goes back to the defense being in your face to start the game. We didn't want to sit there and come out being lethargic and anything like that. So we were fast-paced, in your face. We made the turnovers happen, or turnover points, or fast break points, whichever one you want to call it. But I think that's where we took that game in the first 2 quarters, and then we just kind of put it out of reach after that, just from me sitting watching and everything. So, but we got a couple minutes here. You want to talk about the transfer rule, Coach?
Yeah, we
got enough
can. I
time?
mean, there's.
I don't know. I don't think we left a big enough block for that one.
Well,
Well, we'll throw it out there, and then we'll kind of see how it goes from there, because I was sitting here reading a little bit about it. So the 25-26 school TSSAA transfer rule is that you, from grades 9 through 12, you can transfer without losing athletic eligibility, as long as the move is not for athletic reasons. The new rule that came about that the governor has put into place is that in 26-27, the transfer rule is you have a one-time rule. Students can transfer once from grades 6 through 8, and then once from 9 through 12 with immediate eligibility. Now, timing, transfers must generally take place between the school years. Mid-year transfers will require the hardship waiver that is in place right now. So the only time you can transfer with no hassle is going to be after the school year, before the next school year. Okay. Restrictions is immediate eligibility is denied if the transfer is for athletic reason only. It is due to disciplinary, or is due for disciplinary action, or if the student follows the coach. So if a coach goes from one school to the other and he's going to transfer, and his reason is because the coach is going, it's denied. He gets in trouble, gets kicked out, it's denied, or does not have the grade point average, whatever it may be. It cannot be for athletic reasons. It has to be for academic reasons. Is how they're now. How do you?
Now,
sit
how are
there?
you going to quantify
Thank you.
that? Good.
Thank you. That's what my thing was. How are you going to sit there and say anybody can put on a piece of paper? I'm doing because it's going to be a better education or whatever it may be. So how are you going to sit there and do that? The documentation. If a sending school claims the transfer is for athletic or disciplinary reasons, the student is denied eligibility unless hardship case is approved. So in other words, if we have a kid and he's leaving Portland and he's going to East Rob, okay, because they got good things going over there and they want to sit there and jump on it and everything, we can sit there and go, there is no academic reasons for him to leave here. He's in good standing. There is no disciplinary reasons for him to leave here, or her to leave here. They're in good standing. The only thing that and the parents are not moving. They're in good standing, and it's a good household. There's no reason for him to go or for them to go to this other school. Then the state will sit there and look and say, okay, you'll have to have a hardship case, and then you have to go back into following what was in place from reading what they've got right here. So they're trying to open it up a little bit with trying to keep, I guess, chains on it a little bit and everything. But like you said, Coach, I guess that's the biggest question is how do you prove and how do you take a school, say it's Portland, we got an athlete transferring to Liberty Creek. How does Portland sit there and look like a good guy and go, well, we're going to let you transfer, but we know it's for athletic reasons. Every school is going to sit there, especially if it's a good player, going to sit there and go, we're not going to let you transfer. We know it's for athletic reasons. You know, you're, like I said, you're in good standings with your academics. You're in good standings with mom and dad. You're living at home. Everything's going good there from what we can find. And there is no hardship case here as in disciplinary reasons. So why are you transferring? You know, how do you sit there? How does the school sit there and allow a kid to transfer and not say it's not for athletic reasons?
Yeah, if it was academic, shame on the parent for not knowing that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right? If your academic is the deal, you should have shopped that out and figured that out before you even started school in high school, right? If someone's got a great FFA program and that's you're a farmer and that your kid's going to inherit the farm, and Joe Blow School has no FFA program and Portland does, you should have known ahead of time. Well, you're going to go to this other school for 1 year and then say, well, I'm going to leave now because Portland's got a. You should have already known that as a parent. Do your homework first.
Well, why was the Tennessee legislator involved in a decision such as that?
Because he can. Let's don't talk about politics. That will get us down in a bad spot.
I don't know why he jumped
Why
in.
do they tax my Social Security that I've earned all these years?
There you go.
I've worked since
You
I
done
was
blew it.
14 years old.
That's it. Show's done.
Put money in there, and then they're going to tax my benefit. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's not fair.
I don't know if they brought
So
it.
is that going to mess up the transfer rule?
Yeah, I'm just. Well, you brought up
I don't
politicians.
understand. Why would it be?
I don't know if they thought if they brought it up, it'd have to go through voting, and then it would be tabled, and it'd be 2 or 3 years from now before it comes past. And they went to Governor Lee and said, "Hey, can you pass this? You know, so we can have it done right now because we're."
And
having
he's got nothing better to think about.
Yeah.
Than,
There's
than
he's
high
got a
school
state
sport.
to sit there and try to figure out how to get it to run and everything, and you know, he's gonna jump into sports.
And we're not even the first state to do that. I mean, I read where it was Indiana, South Carolina, Texas already had this law. And
The transfer?
And I just thought it was interesting that you have to have a state law. You would think the TSSAA or the
But
county
it's a
school-
double-edged
I don't
sword
know.
too.
Well,
The
yeah,
TSSAA making
can't really-
that kind of decisions is a
you
scary
can't
deal
really
too.
trust their.
Yeah, they're.
That's a good point. I didn't finish my sentence. I'll let you finish.
I'm
yours.
sorry.
I'll let you finish what you wanted to say.
But right. I mean, I do admire that they're trying to open it up a tad, and still trying to. You know, it's not like the NIL transfer rules to where they just opened it up and they let it go wild for 5 years now. Now they're trying to figure out how to get it back to where they can figure out how to make it. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. To where it's not like it is. I mean, you got kids who's got 7 years eligibility still trying to, go and ask for eligibility some way. So, and at the college level. So, but I do like what they're trying to do to a point. If it's legit for a kid that needs to transfer, like you said, Coach, that's a perfect example. If you're at a school and say you're in Nashville or whatever, and for whatever reason you went to Grandpa's and Grandpa's got a farm and he's going to leave it to you and everything, and you need to learn that, and then you got to find a better FFA, whatever, or maybe it's something else, and then. But if it's just because it's happening now, I know when Station Camp and Gallatin, when Station Camp came along and Gallatin came along, you had kids going from Gallatin to Station Camp. And the way they did it was by your home address, if you were zoned for that school. And the way they did it was you're going to go live with your Aunt Julie over here. And because she's in Station Camp's residence, and that's all you had to do is show proof of your household is at this address, and you're good. and you had everybody living with their grandma and grandpa and everything, trying to get that to be on a better team and everything. And so they're going to find a way. Someone's going to find a way, going to find a crack, find a back door, a hole or something like that to get through and to squeeze through and to make it benefit for them. And then, it goes to crap after that and everything. So, like I said, I don't mind the transfer rule as long as it's legit. How do you handle it? How do you police it? As I guess that's like asking NCAA to police their transfer rules, and they ain't figured that out yet.
Good point.
So, somebody's going to find something out to figure out how to get this done or that done. But other than that, we'll call it a show, guys. I appreciate the last 2 hours talking sports with you. I know we're going to get together tonight for the broadcast. Make sure you listen in at 7 o'clock or about 6:50 to Portland Sports Network on the YouTube channel. Catch the broadcast tonight. Listen to Kyle Eden and Coach Thayer here broadcast the game. I'll try to do the best without messing up the commercials and leaving them on hot mics or anything like that. But it should be a good game. If you've got nothing going on tonight, come on out and watch these guys play PHS, the Portland boys basketball team. Should be a good game. It is a really good show to come watch. And I'll call it a show because they play a good game. I really do enjoy watching them play. And then hopefully we can sit there until you come out Monday and Tuesday to watch these other games, and we'll continue to play and watch the seasons continue to go, and then we'll start broadcasting the other spring sports as they get closer and everything. But today's sports Saturday show will not be on video. I left the house without the iPad, so there's no video here, and you don't want to sit there and see just us three anyway. So it's just going to be an audio here. But guys, appreciate you coming in this morning and helping me with this and everything. And I'll go home and get a little bit of bite to eat and rest before you all get ready to broadcast tonight's game. Again, that's going to be on YouTube, Portland Sports Network, starting about 6:50, 6:45. Game's supposed to start at 7. But Kyle and Coach Thayer here will be bringing you the broadcast there. And but other than that, guys, you have anything left?
I don't.
Parting.
I do not. Trying to make my decision. Do I listen on the radio to the Lady Vols softball, or do I watch on TV the men's baseball? And I think I've already made my decision.
Who are we playing in baseball? UCLA again?
I don't know.
Or was it they got killed yesterday?
Yeah, I know. I think I'll be listening to the softball.
Watch the baseball and listen to the softball.
No. I think I know what I'm going to do. I shouldn't even spoke.
All right. Well, I'm going to baseball practice, so peace out.
All right, guys. Guys, again, appreciate you stopping by, listening in. Hope everybody has a great day. It's supposed to be in the 70s, so everybody's going to get out. Be careful going out. Everybody's going to be out trying to do things and getting around and have patience with people. But I appreciate everybody stopping by and listening in, and everybody have a great day. And we'll like Kyle says, go Panthers.